Welcome to Radical Underdogs, and unusually I'm going to start this video with a video in qualifying. A red flag is out in qualifying. I am just wondering what the hell happened here. Absolute pile up as you go down into the chicane. 3 cars in here in the car, not really understanding what's going on. Anyway, qualified really well in this race. This is position 7 out of 36. And the red lights are on and they are about to go out. You can see they are gone, and Kev Birdie yet again, great start on the outside. That's number 59, sweeping past us on the outside. That is 1 position down already, but still in the top 10, and that is good for this channel, good for this team. Down into the first corner at Redgate, you can see it's wet on the inside. There's people all over the shop on the outside. There's cars off on the gravel. Meanwhile, we are through safely. It has been a mixed day here at Donington Park, and you can see lots of spray. It's not actually raining. There's contact up ahead. We're down on the inside. You've got Russell Halley there. He's made progress from a bit further back as well. Side by side, we're very close. We've given each other a room. We've made it through the old hairpin for the first time, and actually been able to get more grip on the outside down into the old hairpin. Often the way in conditions like this, it's very slippery on the racing line. Up ahead, cars, you can see struggling to get the grip. We're out onto the green bit. That's very slippery, which means that the car behind us, and Russell's having another go down the inside. We didn't get the traction as we got on the exit. Down onto the long back straight here at Donington Park. We're on the power early, and maybe we can get a good slipstream effect through with Russell here, but no, actually we're not really gaining on Russell here. Going down into the chicane, so this is the Grand Prix circuit we're on at Donington Park. So the national circuit ends there and you're back onto the start-finish straight, but not this time. You can see taking the curbs and struggling a little bit with the power. You can see behind us, it's got car number 86 all the way around the outside. As I say, the outside sometimes has better grip. We've been able to get it stopped and not slam into the side of car 86, and I will look that up in a second to give you who that is. That's Austin Pegg in car 86, round the outside and up into the top 10. Oh, you can see cars behind locking up, so it's with these really tricky conditions. You're finding your way each lap. Like the track is drying as the cars go over it. These cars don't have any aero, so they're not really doing a great job of clearing the circuit. I'm going to have to go defensive, because as much as I don't want to lose race time, actually on a day like today, I'm not losing a huge amount of time by going defensive into Redgate. I've got Bo Parry behind me in car number 14. He's normally up ahead in front of me, actually, so I know that I've dropped a few positions. It's quite difficult to keep exactly where you are in your head, especially at a frantic start like this. But I know if I'm around where Bo Parry is, I know that I'm probably doing pretty well. He's struggling, working really hard. You can see his cars behind working really hard as well. As Bo Parry gets overtaken as up the hill. It's flat in the dry, trying it flat in the wet. Giving a little brake, little dab of the brakes. Wide almost again, actually losing traction. That's Thomas Greenwood in car 63. He's backed out of it and not going for the overtake, because that door will just close, so that's quite a sensible move there. He might have had a bit of a run, but he knows that he'll probably get me on the straight, because there is a slipstream effect. I wasn't demonstrating it very well earlier because I wasn't really catching Russell on the last lap, but Thomas definitely catching, and I was never going to fight that through the chicane, so actually I braked a little bit early so I can get on the power earlier, which is not really working for me here. So I mean, I've got a little bit of power, a little bit of speed on Thomas here, but I don't think it's really going to work unless I go all the way around the outside. Actually, he's better on the brakes down into the second to last corner. So overall, not a great start to this race. Qualified brilliantly in position 7. Well, brilliantly for me. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that 7th is actually a pretty good position. I'm around 5th in the championship at the moment, just by being consistent. There are people behind me who are probably quicker drivers, or quicker drivers in car combo at least, and they have just been dropping out of the races, DNFs, etc. And just to get a sort of position around 5th, 6th, 7th position is sort of 80 points in this championship. So it makes a big difference if you end up DNFing in a race. So actually just being consistent finishing is really well rewarded. You can see there is a yellow flag, so just acknowledging that. Yellow flags are tricky because absolutely you know, the marshals are out on the circuit. It's double waved yellows, and you can see a car being dragged off to the side. There's a marshal on the circuit. There's marshals on the circuit here as well. So you absolutely do not want to put them in any danger at all. But equally, if you slow down far too much, and I was guilty of doing this when I first started racing, then you end up losing a lot of time to cars in front of you, cars around you, etc. Obviously, you can't be overtaken during the yellow flag, but obviously after. So it's a bit of it takes a bit of experience to work out. But you absolutely just need to follow the rules on this. So where the rules say be prepared to stop. I mean, a circuit like this, you can absolutely see far enough in front of you so that you can still drive at a reasonable pace and stop if you really had to if something came across the circuit. But it's always a tricky one actually. But there are definitely cars where you. And at the end of the day, this is a club racing series, so if I lose half a second by being a bit too cautious, it's not the end of the world really, is it? Let's be honest. I do want to do well, obviously, but come on. Right, where are we? We're down at the Melbourne hairpin. This is the Melbourne Loop at Donington Park, and it adds to the circuit. It adds a bit of length to the circuit, it makes it a bit longer. I think it's about 2.5 miles if you add this Melbourne hairpin in. My favourite, and this might be controversial, I don't know, a few other people I know feel the same, but my favourite layout of this circuit is actually the national circuit, because there's two basically off-camber corners. So Goddard's, which we've just gone through there, is kind of off-camber. It's not a great corner to drive in this configuration. And the same thing with the Melbourne hairpin. I never really feel, it's not a very satisfying corner to get right. And it always feels like you're getting both of those corners wrong, which is never a great thing on a circuit. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and do leave a comment because that does help. It does help the video. So, do you think the national circuit is a better configuration, or do you prefer this Grand Prix layout? I certainly prefer the national circuit, even if it is a bit shorter. Not always the same. So, I mean, for example, with Silverstone, I much prefer the Grand Prix layout compared to what we've got in terms of the national circuit or the international circuit. Mostly because I think Maggots and Beckett's is one of the best sequences of corners I think you've got on the UK tracks. There's a few up there, the Mountain in Cadwell, for example, like that as well. But I think you can see I'm taking quite a lot of speed. I'm catching up with Thomas there, but taking a lot of speed through the corner at McLean's. But it is tricky and it's in the wet. It is drying out, so we're carrying more and more speed. Actually, catching Thomas up a little bit here, just by being able to carry a little bit more speed through the corners. It does help in conditions like this that you've got a car in front of you, because you know that they've got through the corner, so you can probably carry at least as much speed as that and take a little bit more, and you can catch up. Behind us, you can see Bo Parry under threat again. He's being overtaken. He's not having a great race, is Bo. He's normally, as I say, way up ahead of me, much more towards the front. So I think this is about the time of the race where it starts settling down a little bit. Actually, you say that. Geez, that is closing up really quickly. I think that might be it's car number 52, which is Paul Simard. It has been super quick as Paul. He's joined us this year for the first time. I think he had the Rookies Cross. He's still got the Rookies Cross on. I think obviously he's been driving something else before this, but and I've sort of saying let's work. I think he's put his hand up saying let's work together. And I'm absolutely going to work together. Paul's been really quick at Donington. You can see how quickly he caught and passed me there, and realistically there's no point fighting that. So where I was kind of fighting Bo earlier, actually that turned out to be the right choice because Bo hasn't got past me. So even in this race I seem to be a little bit quicker, whereas Paul closed up like a bat out of hell. I think he might have even started towards the back. He might have had some issues in qualifying, and you can see it's all over the back of Thomas Greenwood ahead. The important thing really is just not to lose time fighting, because that was so close. That was so close to losing it, and I think I got away with it. That was so close to putting it onto the wet grass and potentially into the barrier at the end of the edge of the old hairpin there. Yeah, just rewind to look at that. That was close. That was, but managed to control it anyway. But Paul's definitely got away from us here. He's definitely got a great setup, great car underneath him. He's been a quick driver this year, so he's passing Thomas down the main straight here. They are fighting a little bit, which probably will allow me to catch up a bit. Thomas isn't giving this up. He's got the inside line for the chicane, which is going to be it's definitely in the drive. He gives you the advantage, and he's kept it. But you can see by fighting up ahead, I lost all that time down at the old hairpin. I've caught right back up with this pair. So if Thomas thinks he can keep him behind for the whole race, this is a great strategy. But realistically, Paul's got past. He's got past at the Melbourne hairpin. And I'm right back behind Thomas. So this is what I mean about fighting. Sometimes in the MX-5s, if you know that the person behind you is going to pass you, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense to fight it tooth and nail, because the cars up ahead are a second or so up the road, because that's just what's happened in this. So those top 5 positions are sort of slipping away from us here. Bo Parry again giving it a go. I've gone defensive into Redgate. Bo's slightly ahead maybe as we go into the braking zone, but nowhere to go if I park it on the apex. And maybe you can do the old switcheroo, but it is very wet. It's struggling to get the traction down. You can see a little wiggle of that MX-5 behind her. So Bo not finding his way past. As we go down Craner Curves, which is flat out in the dry in an MX-5. It is... I was lifting a little bit, I think, there, but it is getting close to being flat out. And you can see Bo being passed again into the old hairpin. That was quick. I think that was that Nick Lavoie? I think he might have changed cars this year, actually. I don't think there's a different black car behind Bo there. Maybe that's Matthew McClucky, I think, in number 2. We'll find out in a second, because he seems to be carving his way through the field much like Paul Simard was. So we'll no doubt have him directly on our tail in a second. And we're not messing around with the gears. Like, normally you're up to 4th in between the Clanes and Coppice. And it's a bit of a... I don't know, I've been going down to 3rd, particularly in conditions like this, but I think you should probably be staying in 4th to carry the speed. I don't know, again, leave it in the comments. I'm not sure what the best way round there is. Going down into the S's, the chicane, these yellow bumps are super annoying. And if anyone here who's listening to this has any... Oh, here we go. We're going to get past it. It's Matthew McClucky in car number 2. And again, I'm not really fighting it particularly hard, because he came up behind super quick. And I've maybe can do a switcheroo, but realistically this position's probably gone, but we're on the outside. Maybe we can fight it back down to Goddard's. Great switcheroo. He's got the inside line. Again, I'm going to try and carry speed all the way around the outside, but this circuit is drying up, so those inside lines are starting to get quicker. Yeah, so couldn't carry that much speed round Goddard's in the end. So going down the Wheatcroft Straight is what it's called. It's the start-finish straight. But damn it, I got caught up with him. They got me, can I have another go? No, not really. He's left us room, no. I just couldn't quite carry the speed down into Redgate. And again, by fighting, as I say, we allow Bo to catch right up. He's probably going to have a nibble, maybe down into one of these corners. He's not been as confident. He got actually passed by Matthew in the last lap around into the old hairpin, and this time around we are one behind the other as we go up the Craner Curves. That was what we just had, going up through under Starkey's Bridge. Well, of course the bridge is no longer there, but the edge of the bridge is still there. But what was I saying? Yeah, so if you've got any influence with circuit authorities or anything like that, can I make my case for those stupid yellow bollard things on the floor to get removed? I mean, if track limits are being policed, then put a sensor down and then just deal with it with a track limits penalty. The yellow bollards, what I'm talking about, you'll see them as you come through the S's. These are these raised concrete or metal, they're mostly metal, I think, blocks that seem to be there just to damage cars, because look, everyone's running over them, because you have to run over them because it's the quickest way around this circuit. No one's getting any track limit penalties for running over them. but if you want to keep your car undamaged, you should probably avoid them, because these are proper metal blocks. You're absolutely slamming into these at like 80 miles an hour. You know, people are buckling wheels, suspension components are getting damaged all over the place. But to be fast, you know, you have to run over them. So if you don't, you're losing half a second, maybe more, to the cars at the front, and that's just not sustainable. So yeah, it makes no sense. I don't understand the purpose of them, to be honest, because yeah, it does make me a little bit cross, because the whole point of motorsport, and hopefully the tracks are there to enable motorsport to happen, to enable privateers like me to go out and race. But if I'm having to replace buckled wheels and suspension components all the time because I have to run over these curbs to be somewhat fast. Anyway, we're closing up. Actually, he's not got away as Matthew, and we've caught him in a place that really I'm not going to pass, which is the Craner curves. This is the Craner curves. Because he got out of shape at Redgate. He got out of shape again at the old hairpin. We are also out of shape and drifting almost on the exit of that old hairpin. So it is a really tricky conditions. And when you're chasing, we're being chased by Bo behind us, and we're chasing Matthew in front of us. We're really kind of on the edge of adhesion around some of these corners. You can see just giving it a bit of correction. Absolutely 100% concentration as we go around these corners. As we go down onto the Starkey Strait. This is Starkey Strait. Starkey's Bridge. I should know my Donington history, but if someone can post the Donington history in the comments. And whilst you're there, by the way, if you've been watching for this long, it's been 10 minutes. Thank you very much for watching, by the way. There you go, smashing into those yellow curbs again. Can someone please get them removed? Or get track limits. I don't really care what, but it just seems nonsensical just to put features on a track which are going to just damage cars. We're actually lapping cars here. So I think that's Lear Jacobs in pink number 555. So we nicely out of the way, respecting the blue flags, so didn't harm our lap time at all, and we are getting close to the end of this race. What was I saying? Yeah, please subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already. If you like this sort of rambling sort of commentary where I take a few moments just to moan about other stuff, then please do subscribe and you'll hear the next one. There we are. We finished the race. Believe it or not, we were 13th. So not bad, not great. There are 35 cars or something in this race, so 13th isn't bad. Thanks very much for watching, and catch you again in the next one.